Welcome back to another live reaction. This weekend we're going to watch the PDGA Champions Cup. First we're going to start with the MPO coverage from Jomez and then move on to Gatekeepers. So here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first professional major of the year, the 2023 PDGA Champions Cup here in Appling, Georgia, at the IDGC. He's Paul Ulivari, I'm Jeremy Cohen, and we're going to bring you all the action this week. Beautiful W.R. Jackson course. Paul, so good to have you here.
Oh, thanks. Good to be here, and oh my gosh, look at what we have here. $5 mystery teas? You kidding me?
Don't tease me, Paul. Oh my goodness gracious. You got to have swag on the course.
$5.
Jomez swag, preferably. I'm biased, but get yourself some stuff from the Jomez site. We got a big sale going on. Big course, Paul.
Big course. Best field of the year, maybe. And
sure.
It's going to be a beautiful week as well.
There's a new layout too. They changed it up.
Brand new layout technically. Hole 14 and hole 18 have been shortened in the tees, but they've been par 5s reduced to par 4s. Scoring is going to be difficult. Michael Johansson called this course a distance course disguised as a woods course. And I think that's a pretty good way of saying this place has long landing zones. And you're going to see that today as Paul Macbeth is on our card last year, finishing the tournament with a 16 under. Just absolutely buku round. We have the hottest player on the planet, arguably, in Calvin Heimberg. He's going to be exciting to watch hit these lines. Isaac Robinson, the Georgia boy, the guy who just does not fear gaps. He rips through. Him and his brother, I swear, with drivers, they don't care about gaps, folks. It'll be exciting to see him attack. And obviously, we have got the reigning PDGA Champions Cup champion, Chris Dickerson.
Last year's champion.
Loves East Coast Woods.
Let's do it.
Loves this tournament. This is basically essentially the perfect card.
That's right. Hole 1, par 4, 660 down the tube here. You can go left to right bender to the corner, or you can throw the hyzer to try to get a little bit more out of it around this corner to about right here. And
Yeah.
then pick your choice of what gap you want to hit to come into this pretty protected green. Slightly uphill as well. Remember that when they're coming in. See a lot of people come up a little bit short.
Paul hasn't been doing too well this season.
Paul's got some good feelers out here for sure.
Yeah, he's had a lot of success out here, just like every other place on the planet.
Yeah. This game travels, doesn't it?
Yeah. He gets an early tree going down the left side, kicks right. Birdie's out of play, you'd think, but he's done some inhuman things here.
I remember
One time in the playoff
Heimberg
between
could play
him,
this hole
Ricky, and
pretty
Simon,
good.
He was way out of position and still got up and down for the birdie.
Oh,
Such a great memory of that playoff as Calvin kicks off to the left side. That's going to be a little tougher. There's no chance
Yeah, you
for
don't
the up and down from over there.
he could forehand out of that though, pretty easily.
I would say we might have the most beautiful day in disc golf history.
It's close, isn't it?
It's about the
Oh.
best possible scoring conditions as Isaac goes a little bit too high, falls down. That's going to be well back of ideal landing zone. And see if Chris can make the adjustment. Pretty slow start for this card as far as this hole goes. This is one of the easier ones in the course. And that's what you're looking for right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
There. Yeah. Got past. Yeah.
Yep.
You'll take anything.
I remember Simon coming up here in the playoff and then cut roller. That's the memory that I have.
What I remember specifically as Calvin gets a nice shot out, it was the number
He
one,
just pitched up.
number 2, and number 3 ranked players in the world going into a 3-way playoff, and I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that before or since. Macbeth not getting too aggressive, just pitching one up the fairway. That should be a pretty relatively easy par scramble. And Isaac, he's probably in the 400 neighborhood to the pin, and
gets a little tree branch on both shots.
Yep.
Costing him a little bit, but that's an easy par from there.
Mm-hmm. Calvin's got some work to save the par.
Yeah, but he's pretty comfortable with this shot.
I want Calvin to do good.
Wow. Yeah, he forced that Anheuser through one of the tighter gaps in that middle cluster.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to
He'll still get par even with that Woods scramble shot.
love through the middle. But the shape was well thrown.
Just like Ed Sheeran, he likes the shape of you.
What
just
is
like
this?
Chris
Ooh.
puts that in the bullseye.
Wow.
That will be an opening birdie for the champion, the reigning champion.
Yeah, they're not trying to do that. They're trying to go wide.
Yeah, yes, of course.
There's no O. They're wide guys.
Of course,
Yes.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that each one of those gaps is about the same width from different places.
I
where
went
it's just,
through there as well.
a lot of people do.
Yes,
It's
the miss is get through there or kick left or right.
You just kind of, a lot of times what was that little snappy foot action there from Isaac? That was kind of a happy feet situation. But either way, he's up there, short par putt.
Whoa,
Actually, no,
that
not
was
short at
very
all.
short. It was shorter than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, you need to get a little happier with his feet next time. That came up shorter than anyone wants for the first
Not
par
for him.
look. Yeah, I mean, that's a short putt for him, but sure. Lengthy par putts both made from Isaac and Calvin. Good feeling. Those didn't look nervy at all. And Macbeth. And the only person up here putting for birdie is the closest to the pin, Chris Dickerson, playing the hole the way that we would imagine a few more on this card would have, but no harm, no foul for the other three.
Yeah, it's funny that they both had those long looks for par. I feel like this is probably the easiest hole on the course to par. Like, it really doesn't matter where your disc goes. You should be able to par it. But it is a tough birdie. Very tough birdie. You have to have a drive that gets into that perfect spot. We already got a guy up there really kind of shredding.
Yeah.
A slew of guys.
Well, it's about the scores we were thinking. I mean, last year, 18 and 14 were pretty soft par 5s. Now, they become one of the harder par 4s. And so, I mean, the score is going to be a lot tougher on this course than it was last year, just for those two holes alone. Everything else is the same. As we move on to the second hole, this is the second easiest hole in the course, 390 feet, pretty much dead straight with just the tiniest bit of fade at the end.
Yeah, the fairway asks for you to throw a hyzer, though, because of how wide it is. So it asks you to throw kind of a wide fading from right to left, just barely drifting. You don't want steep hyzer. That was thrown perfectly.
Yeah, Chris is going to have another essential tap-in birdie to start this.
Looks great as well. Anything right there, you're loving life.
Ground play out here is usually quite fast. The pine straw serves as a very slick surface for the discs. They kind of move like you would imagine Arizona on that dry grass. It's very fast. So speed control and nose angle is very important.
What a beautiful day out there. Wind looks calm, too.
Just gets away with that width, and we're going to have 4 drives in the circle, as we would imagine from these guys.
Nice.
Paul knocking down the first birdie of his round. That's a good putt from the edge of the circle. That'll get him going.
Nose down. 3 inches above the rim. That's pretty good.
He is leading the tour in so many major statistical categories that it is just, it's crazy he hasn't won everything so far. There's this power drive index, I think it's the PDI. I think that's about like who has given themselves the most opportunities on long holes, and he's leading in that. He's leading in circle 1 percentage, circle 2 percentage. He's on the front page of the best putting percentages of both C1 and C2.
He's definitely not leading an OB percentage.
And there's the star frame. Okay, why you say he throws OB a lot, or what do you say?
No, he doesn't. In order to lead in that, you would have to have the most.
Oh, so you're saying I've got the lead. I'm finally leading the tour in something. Congratulations.
No, not you.
Well, we have got another tight tournament, as you can see with the leaderboard check-in. It's just going to be that way for... Just go ahead and predict that's going to be the way it's going to be forever.
Yeah, we can even stop saying it. We can just be like, there's the leaderboard, and look at all those people.
Yeah, look at that bunch of people. Everyone's so good. Hole 3 is a uphill par 4. Big tee shot Anheuser to get into position. Some people actually are throwing the sidearm checkup to leave themselves a longer second shot through the woods, but it's more of a natural hyzer if you don't go way around the corner.
Yeah, I kind of like the play to lay up short, and let me explain why. The shorter you are in the gap...
I think everyone would take that drive right there, though.
The shorter you are in the gap, your approach shot has a shorter time to turn.
Yeah, you're giving yourself more time to have the natural fade of a driver. Yeah,
so if you lay it up short as your disc goes straight and then goes to the left, you're actually making the gaps a lot bigger.
Macbeth out driving the landing zone with his forehand, and I think that's a great point, as Calvin's turnover also fades too soon. As you get this turnover shot out of your hand, it has to be moving right more than it's moving forward at a certain point. Isaac showing you a good example. It's going to be fine. He didn't come up too short, but it's still going to be a little bit of a scramble. That's how a lot of these woods play here in Appling.
So if you're before this little stump, he almost tried to kick it. Don't do that.
That was a good effort.
It's a good effort, yeah.
But not in C2 even, I don't think. If it is, it's back edge.
This is a tight gap between the tree and the little shrub, Annie.
Yeah, and this is more of a play just to move forward. I don't think... No, actually, there it comes back at the end. It's fading a little bit. We'll have some long look at it. Calvin, look at this, finding some backdoor over the top route with the forehand flex. What a beautiful scramble shot. And once again, Chris off the tee, best of the bunch.
I love this.
And 3 bullseyes to start his tournament off. Yes, please.
I like how he went straight and he didn't try to take on any of the trees.
Yeah, so Paul did find his way in C2, but low ceiling, lengthy putt through the woods gave that a half effort. And Isaac with his patented quick release comes up just a bit left. This was the hole that Calvin Heimberg won in the playoff against Adam Hammes a few years ago. If you guys remember that classic battle with Adam Hammes making every putt under the sun for about the entire week. Hat flying off.
Flowy locks.
Flowy locks. That's where he got the nickname that we all call him to this day, Flowy locks. Chris, what a great start. So important to get these early birdies. These first 3 all playing under par, but doesn't feel like you should be 3 under through 3. But Chris is, and that really helps set him up for a great round if he can continue this trend.
Disc golf keeps growing. At the Power Disc Golf Academy, we believe in adding power to the player to level up their game. That's why Paul Ulibarri, a top 50 ranked player, is taking the past 18 years of teaching disc golf and boiling it down into lessons across every subject. From driving, to putting, to drills, to practice, to
Improve your game with one of the best teachers in the game. Paul's business partner. No, I'm just kidding.
David. Hole 4, par 3, 327. So we played a few par 4s to start it off. A pretty easy par 3, and this one gets on the more technical side. Really tight gap off the bat. Little fade. You got to miss one middle tree. Let's see if Chris can do it. Hyzer the whole way.
That looks.
There, it looks good.
Is it long enough?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the key. You have to push the back edge and then really start to quickly hyzer.
But that's okay. These guys are probably going to make this gap look pretty easy, but I promise you everybody on this card has probably had to scramble at some point in their career on this hole. It's a tough gap to hit.
Because this, look at that. Beautiful shot from Paul. And he is going to find himself right at the edge of the bullseye.
It's easy to miss a little bit right and pull it a little bit and then kick left, and that's a really tough spot to be in.
It's a really full mid-range, or it's a softly thrown driver, but I feel like a lot of people get in trouble when they try to check up on a driver because it is just a kind of an awkward in-between speed.
I like when people take their most overstable, whether it be mid-range
Look at
or
that.
driver,
Yes.
throw it straight and let the disc do the rest of the work.
That's the way to do it. Bullseye for Isaac, and Chris here to keep the perfect round going.
Oh, that looked good, too.
Chris Dickerson's
Over
holding
the
it
years,
down.
I've noticed that he's taken a lot of spin off of his putts. It, like, comes in like floppy flyer. I'm not sure if that's on purpose. That's on purpose right there. I'm not sure if that's on purpose as far as Chris goes, or if...
So far the hot round is -9. I saw. Seems doable for Chris. Calvin should catch up too.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all are molded by our experiences and by potential trauma of putts that have gone past the basket, and
they turn into floppy flyers?
They turn into floppy flyers over time because you just are sick and tired of the 30-foot comebacks. That's why I think there's a lot of those young kids have such fast, speedy putts. These guys,
So
they shoot
-9.
all their venom, and then eventually they're like, "Wait, maybe I should reserve some of this
For when I'm in trouble.
for when I'm in trouble." And then that's how I'm shaped, at least. I don't know. On to hole 5. This is the first hole on the course that averages over par, and rightfully so. 3.02 average, which is actually pretty dang low considering how tough this gap is to hit and how brutal saving par can be. 432 feet, dead straight.
Does blue on the map mean Mando?
Paul off the right side last year. I don't know if they're doing this again, but there's a Rectech grill for CTP.
Calvin.
But last year, the Rectech grill was won on the very first throw of the tournament. Connor O'Reilly put the disc under the basket, and it stayed there all 4 rounds.
Turn.
And breaking its way down the fairway, getting an insanely good kick to bullseye.
Whatever.
Are you kidding me, Isaac? Yeah.
Didn't they have a CTP last year for this one?
Left side fairway. It's looking pretty good, and now it's looking real good. I mean,
that makes the fairway really big.
yeah.
Wow.
It's like playing bowling with the
That was
rails.
amazing.
True.
You just got to strike. Chris, this is moving the right way.
That's
and
really good.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the objective is hit the initial gap and then just go, whew.
I feel like he would have barely made it to circle 2 anyway.
Yeah, that didn't have a lot of pace on it, did it? Oh, boy. And there's why this hole becomes insanely challenging if you miss this initial gap. And look what Paul's left with here for his third shot. Wow, great
Silly
effort.
good.
Really great. I mean, he had to go so high. He had nothing. And now Calvin having to scramble. He's got to go high with the forehand.
He's fine over there, though. I feel like, as far as the difference between left and right here, is a lot like hole 1. When you're on the right side, that
Okay.
sidearm high is kind of wide open.
Yes.
To get to at least 30 feet, it's kind of wide open. To park, it's a little tougher.
And can he save?
Yes.
Calvin does indeed save.
Saves the par.
But left?
With that scramble shot. Good save.
This would be a good bogey scramble for Paul, and he does collect it. Obviously, it's not going to feel good, but, man, it can get a lot worse from that side. As you can see, he was in a bad spot the whole way. Isaac is just going to walk up here and tap in. Now get Isaac to 300. Now he's tied with Chris, who had the perfect start. And a couple of good starts on our card now.
Tied it up with Chris. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, 3, 3, 2, 1. Paul's 1. I don't care what his score is at. It equals like 4 better than that.
Yeah, never look at his current score. You have to look at his future projected score because
Wonder how Gannon's doing.
Yeah, by the end of the tournament, he'll have like 20 of those. That's my prediction.
It's the vagina hole.
yeah, it really is bold considering he's done the same thing for 20 years. I don't know how you come up with these incredibly accurate predictions.
Another tough hole though here, 366 up the hill, drifting from right to left. This, if he misses that one, he's good.
Oh, missed that one.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, the backhand
can't see
is
the future.
just, it is such a
Wow.
narrow path that the disc has to travel. It almost
This is better.
It requires you to flip it up a bit.
Yep. Oh,
And-
almost identical.
So Calvin being more inside actually ended up being the thing that cost him a park job. But he's got the right idea. It's got to be hyzer. It's got to be moving left, but it's also got to stand up gently.
I think the low shot is worse. The high shot stalls in front of that stuff.
This is about
Perfect.
exactly how
Yeah.
you draw it up.
And then you get... It's tough
Nice.
to park this thing.
This-
Circle's edge is like where you see a lot of people. Chris is about as good as you can do.
This is one of the few holes where the right-handed forehand flex.
Paul seems a bit early. Oh, yeah. He cut it a little inside, so.
But it's not a shot that everyone has,
Yes.
especially going up the hill.
It plays about
It plays,
400.
yeah, it plays long.
You can make that.
Macbeth uphill putt, and that one just never had a chance.
Spoke too soon. Whoops.
It was high enough.
Yeah, part of it was okay.
Oh.
That
I guess
was-
I heard when you said that, the ringing in my ears of all the old players being like, never up it, never in.
Keep it going,
up.
Chris.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather miss high than low.
the people who
And now
only
my-
speak in cliches.
And now my brain is like, well, at least it was high enough.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's not fine. Like,
Yeah.
missing's not okay.
I don't know how to speak to somebody who only speaks in cliches. Like, I want to return with one, like, have a good day, sir. But that's not a cliche. That's just a nicety.
Yeah.
Isaac in for birdie.
Morning's coming soon, isn't it?
Top of the morning to you. So.
Yeah, there you go.
And pars for both Calvin and Paul. And we got a couple of really good starts now. 4 under through 6 for both Chris and
Floppy
Isaac.
flyer.
Yeah.
Macbeth's the only one with a bogey.
What do you think after 9 is like your preferred start here?
I mean,
Like playing consistent, not
If
really
you-
making mistakes, and getting the birds that you need to.
I think what I'm expecting out here for these guys is 5 under to 6
Yeah,
under is
okay.
incredible. I mean,
I didn't see Gannon up there on the top 10. Hopefully he's doing all right.
but I think that if these guys can get to that 5 or 6 under, I think they're putting themselves in an incredible position as we fly over hole 7. This is a tough one. You can throw the perfect drive off the tee and essentially be in a position where you're still scrambling. The second shot is so specific. part 1, get yourself down there.
Pretty basic tee shot, really.
Oh, skipping long. Isaac's going to have that right side. He's probably going to have to go through a couple layers of trees to get himself a look.
Oh, this looks like the same shot.
Lost it a little bit
Oh,
left,
kicked
but
nice.
that's okay.
Yeah, stood that one up out of the hand. This is a good fairway driver to slow distance driver type shot for these guys. You want to get left.
That's more like the shot you want to get.
You want to get right about there. You have another about, I don't know, about 35, 40 feet forward.
You could play with, yeah.
That would make the shot.
Paul's playing it safe.
It doesn't
too.
even necessarily make the next shot easier, though. That's the thing about this one. Look at
Oh,
It kind of,
that. You think it does?
I think so, only because if you get a little farther, you take the flex out of the disc that you need to throw, right?
Okay.
Like, then you can play one angle hyzer all the way to the pin. That's a pretty good effort from where he was, and easy par. Yeah, he did his job to kind of get up there. But you see how Macbeth's gonna have to feather a straight shot or move it from left to right to get the big gap.
Yeah, I thought that.
Watch.
Look at this get through.
nice.
Watch where Calvin is, and he's probably gonna be able to just do one angle. See what I mean?
Okay.
On hyzer, and that's what getting closer does.
Didn't commit, didn't like it out of his hand.
Bit
Got
short.
away with
Gets
it.
through, and he's going to have himself a pretty open look. You can see that right branch coming to your screen there. If you're pin high or you're behind the basket, you have this insanely low ceiling putt that becomes very, very challenging for the short proximity to the basket.
Isaac pinched, like you said. Tough to do anything from there. Played with his brother, and let's just say they're both pretty good.
I've been playing quite a bit with Ezra lately, and the guy, I don't think he even recognizes the trees that are in front of him. He just throws through everything. And
Georgia boys, I feel like.
they, you know, the really cool thing about both of them is that I think as Macbeth lines up this long birdie putt, just ticks the band. They get mid-range type flight with their drivers, and I don't know many other people who are able to do that, as Calvin knocks down a nice birdie.
This guy does it with his eagle.
Yeah, there's a few players who can do that, but Calvin doesn't throw the long, lengthy turnovers
No.
that just keep bending right with the drivers, and that's something that I think at some point we're going to have to see Isaac go to that, because he does not go to the forehand at all. Kind of like James Conrad in that way, but maybe I think we've probably seen more forehands from James Conrad than Isaac.
Isaac doesn't forehand? What the heck?
I love the way that he just puts it on angle right away.
Boom.
He uses the stability of the disc to do the flight. He doesn't try to put a flight on the disc.
Nice knockdown from Heimberg. That's a scary location to go for the putt, and Calvin gets himself
Yeah, Calvin's catching up.
big birdie on 7.
Bogey free, 3 birdies.
Be interesting to see how many forehands versus how many backhands we see off the tee on 8, as you have this left to right moving dogleg par 4. Not that long of a hole.
This looks like a forehand starter.
This little
Isaac,
right
let's see what he's got.
really good drive. Set yourself up for the 300-foot approach to the pin through the woods. There's essentially 2 lanes that you can approach this pin. Left side and right side are both pretty good, the right side being the wider of the 2. High forehand with Calvin's Firebird,
Was that too high?
and
That's what happens.
That's
You
what
kind of
happens.
just, it's like
Yeah.
so hard to get in the very middle of this fairway.
I think the best possible type of forehand here is a high stall that lands on that right side and stays, but it's so tricky because you're playing with that early right side, which is just absolute garbage. You do not want to be in that
Okay.
early corner.
Well, he
See
threw a
how that one
putter.
is. That tree might be a problem. If it's not, then he'll have a hyzer type of shot into the green. He's going with a putter. I
Yeah,
don't
he's going
like
zone. The only
Oh.
reason I like the zone is because I think the longest that you can possibly get is down that right side, but he is now in a really bad spot.
Oh, I like the play. I just don't like the shot he threw with it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I meant. Pardon me.
Crafter.
And Macbeth trying to check up a little bit here with his Raptor, and he connects on the early side, but he's not out of contention for the birdie. He's just a long way back.
Yeah.
Now Chris is going to have to come up with a great shot just to
Oh
get
my
into
God.
position.
Wow. Okay.
And that's
That's
not
good, I
even
think.
as... it's short of where he would even like his drive to be, I think.
Yeah.
But he's still... Yeah, that's this disc right in front of Paul.
He has a pretty big gap, though. Look at this flexor.
If you can keep this... I was going to say, if that kept moving left, that would have been...
It's there. It's there. I had somebody on my card in a similar position, but left, flex a forehand all the way to the hole. It
Wow.
was really...
Yeah, you
Great.
can see this right side gap's bigger, but the one thing that makes it pretty tricky is there is a tree that I swear is exactly where you want your disc to fly. And if you hit this gap, you have to make a conscious decision early on. Am I trying to attack this wide or inside? Because if you go down the middle, you're going to hit that tree every single time.
Looked like that turned a bit more
Calvin
than he
goes the
wanted.
tight route. And Isaac, can he beat that tree?
Of course.
Actually, he goes right of everything.
Nice.
And look at that slide down to 15 feet. That's going to get him to 5 under.
It's a good up shot. Good save.
Did Paul have a custom die on that disc?
Oh, right here. Good height.
Yeah, it gives a stab. Chris is going to have a lengthy par putt coming, and he's in danger of taking his first bogey.
No.
And will.
So does Heimberg catch
Casual
up?
5 under now for Isaac. That's kind of defining his entire gameplay and his approach to the game, it seems. He's just very at ease, it seems, at times.
Isaac. Oh, I didn't even notice he had 5 under. Let's go.
Two-stroke swing there for Isaac. Silas Schultz still
Conrad,
holding
6,
down that
tied
hot
for
round
6.
thus far at 9 under. It's a good score. We've come to the end of the front 9, Paul.
Yeah, this one's a tricky little hole here. 618. Initial tee shot is very tight, and you want to throw it straight really as far as you can for as long as you can, and then you want that whatever disc is to get really stable quick and move left, give yourself a short up shot. All kinds of gaps you can hit coming into the pin. As you see, this is exactly
boy.
what you want.
Wow.
I mean, this
Just
should-
flies the road.
That's picture perfect.
Yeah, it's in the top 4 or 5 longest drives I think I've ever seen in this one.
Beauty.
Can't really shape the fairway better.
Here's Calvin doing his best impression.
Of
That
himself.
could be going too far, and it is.
I think every time Calvin steps up to a low ceiling, tight gap, he's just like, God, I'm so happy I'm Calvin Heimberg right now.
Yeah, Paul likes being Paul, though. And there's a backdoor route right there. Flex forehand.
Yeah.
It's pretty doable.
For a good tee shot, I think he's found one of the trickier places that you could find yourself on across the road. Anything across the road is great, but I think I think Chris actually has a better approach to the pin than Paul does, at least as far as the angle of the gap.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty straightforward shot.
Because you can go around to the right side of those trees or inside like he did.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing you can't do is those 2 trees in the middle. So
Calvin in a little bit of a tricky spot.
Oh, very
Oh,
tricky.
no.
Okay, should be
Fine from there.
fine. And Paul, he's gonna go backhand Flexer, yeah, down the middle. But there are a lot more trees in the middle
Actually, just straight turnover.
if you're
Beautiful.
a normal human. Yeah, that gap actually looks pretty generous from there.
Huh.
Might be getting this one wrong here, but there are some tricky spots in the middle. Isaac, this coming out of his hand seemingly kind of hot. Yeah.
Ooh.
And there's that Georgia pine straw ground play making its way to the back edge of the circle.
Yeah, he put steep hyzer on it to try to negate that arm speed, but did kind of get going.
Calvin, this is off.
Do you think they're gonna better manage the pedestrians on the course just watching in the future? I find sometimes like even the volunteers and
Mentally.
organizers stand too close.
A little high. But 6 under front 9 is about as good as anybody could ever hope in their wildest dreams.
Sign me up for that as a final score.
Nice.
Like, I will sign the dotted line for a 6 under. And he's achieved that on the front 9 alone. Chris in for his birdie, and Calvin.
Oh no.
Whoops. That's going to suffer his first bogey of the tournament.
Paul gets the bird. That's tough. Taking the bogue, everybody else getting the bird.
Yeah, getting across the road off a tee shot. You just think that you've taken bogey out of play. You can get into some early trouble there if you miss that initial gap. But
Conrad,
Calvin taking the bogey, that's going to hurt
14,
him
4
for
more to
sure.
go. Or
James
3 maybe.
Conrad, he is still on the course, 7 under. He had to qualify on Monday, one of the 8 players who qualified for this tournament at the Monday qualifier.
Tim
And
Barham as well.
Tim Barham also
Eagle.
qualifying.
Eagle's
Quite a
doing
few
good.
players out there doing pretty well. As we said earlier, though, get used to these tight scores. It's just going to be the future.
Matty
Yeah,
O,
Calvin kind of
has
struggling on that
potential.
front 9, looking for that first major. That's something you want to kind of keep your eye on. Got to get those
Who's
putts up and
that?
have an
Oh.
early start at these majors.
Pretty
Otherwise,
nine.
the field will run away from you.
It's pretty much tied with Chris.
Well, that's
Not bad, not bad. So far, so good. Just gonna switch it to the back 9 now.
so says you have to be
Nothing
able
we
to
haven't
just
seen. We'll
move
just
on to
skip
the next
that.
shot.
I like how Michael Johansson described it as a
Distance course disguised as a woods course.
par 4, 606
Yeah, what are these
feet.
blue,
Here's
red,
where I'm
and
going to
yellow
debate you
things?
on that, because this is a pretty short par 4.
Correct. Yeah.
You want to get to the end of the little bend there, which is about 3 or 280, and then the farther you get right, the easier the upshot becomes.
This is on the easier side. This is the 3rd easiest hole in the course. I think it's just gotten easier throughout the years. I don't remember this feeling easy back when this was the 2nd hole of the course.
He's splitting the gaps. Can he get past? Oh,
Yeah.
a little
That's a
love
driver.
won't hurt
Again,
anybody.
just that thing is moving like you would imagine a beat up rock or a Comet or an M4 or whatever flippy mid range you might be throwing.
T-pads look nice.
And here's what
Mm,
you normally do here.
wow.
Is that inside route. If you're throwing the mid-range or fairway driver, you want to hit that inside route.
Yes.
The outside route, I feel like Isaac kind of split both gaps.
He kind of got a little lucky, perhaps.
This is
Yeah, overturned.
kind of bad.
Didn't even see where it went.
Eagle.
Throwing a Calvin. Ah, don't like the right side kick off the
Nice.
ground. But it's around the corner enough that he should have some sort of play there for the birdie, maybe.
This is roller.
Look at that effort from Chris. Oh my gosh, this is
Yes.
To the
awesome.
bucket.
Oh, wow. Chris Dickerson. That was
Perfect.
something special.
Yeah, that doesn't happen from there,
Oh
folks.
my gosh.
Deep.
Wow, I didn't think that he would have any play at all. Stand still, back to the basket, flippy disc, turnover roller. Wow.
Paul gets a bad kick right there. That would have slid up well inside the circle, but now he's going to have to settle for circle 2.
Yeah, you're not guaranteed anything with a good drive on this hole because each one of these gaps that you have to pick is...
Too many trees.
You just have to really trust the one that you choose. Otherwise, you're going to hit a tree.
Oh, wow. 7 under. Huh.
Keeping things going.
7 under through 10 is spicy. Look at this tight little lie here.
I want, like, if you could just say you're going to get 7 birdies at this tournament, I'm like, super, swell, wonderful. That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of birdies that you can get out here, especially when the conditions are perfect like they are today.
Paul pushes that a little bit deep. His circle 1 putt looks really good.
Mm.
His circle 2 putt looks a little iffy. Chris for one of the more unpredictable birdies, and he misses it high. And he gets a little roll. It's going to be him next.
Yeah, that's annoying. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're thinking yourself, you're escaping with one of the best birdies you've had in a long time, and now he has to work for the par. Bounce back birdie percentage time for Calvin.
Ching-a-ling.
Hear them ching. There's a Christmas Carol lyric somewhere in there.
Nice.
Yep.
7 under for that man, Isaac Robinson.
Yeah.
Moving on to
Beauty.
hole 11, Germ. Your
Let's
favorite
hope
hole
he
on the
can
course,
hold
I
it.
heard.
I have no problem with the hole. Sure. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I think hole
You
11.
told me that.
Did
Just
I?
like 10 seconds ago.
I said hole 11.
Conrad.
Yeah, off camera.
He's doing good.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Oh, and I remember now. Yes, hole 11, my favorite hole in the course. It's a par 3 that is very tough for the hyzer forehand to get to. So you have to really look at a backhand hand hyzer, and that's not a question for these guys because this shapes up really well for the high turnover. Isaac's got this turned over too tight, and that is death of a birdie chance. Left side is horrible here.
Oh, I kind of like this.
Okay.
A lot to like.
Ooh.
A lot to like. Calvin doesn't go flippy here. He goes
Is that
with
the
that eagle that
FPO's
drifts.
net?
Yeah.
So he throws it hard and just lets the disc ride on its own. Essentially, there wasn't a single tree even close to that flight path. That was...
What makes this your
Perfect.
favorite, though? Like, that's bizarre
I just
to me.
absolutely never said that, folks.
Oh. Paul wants to follow that line a little lower. If he misses that one and that one.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Great ground
yeah,
play.
for sure.
And he's in quite a bit of trouble here. He's going to be moving backwards for the first time. Bogey coming for Isaac.
That's what you get.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Chris doesn't get that up. That's what he gets.
Yeah, sure.
And
Paul.
That's what you get, Paul.
Oh.
C1 putting not perfect anymore.
no, that looked good. That's frustrating, especially when you're going through the course, not getting in the circle. You finally get there,
Yeah.
and the
Gotta
pressure
capitalize.
kind of gets you, even when you're a billion-time world champion. We just see that happen.
Calvin just a tapping, and now he gets the 4 under. A
Nerves-
little bit
nerves-
of moving.
Yeah, nerves get to everybody. I was actually
Bag on putt.
right over there in person, and I heard him say to himself, finally get a look, and you miss it.
Ah,
And so that's where that's coming from. That's not me
Yeah.
just...
a little bit of
contemplating.
impatience, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how this place plays with that mind game. You just have to remain in the moment.
And being a major, if you don't have the mentals completely on lock, it can really get
Conrad's
to you.
tied for
And
second now. He's
seconds
moving.
turn into 10 seconds, and 10 seconds turns into a minute.
Conrad's making moves.
You have no control over them. Hole 12, par 5.
Oh.
Sorry that I just
No,
went on and on about something
People
pretty
love
much
it.
pointless. 990 feet. This is a classic hole
Totally.
that hopefully won't ever change.
I don't see how it could.
990 foot, dead straight. You want to drift from left to right to get this backdoor route on the drive to get to this area in the middle of the fairway where there's a stump. From there, you have a choice to go backdoor or early eagle route.
Calvin going eagle here for position, drifting too far right, perhaps. Kind of dancing on the edge of the fairway.
But that's okay.
That's fine. He's up the fairway and he's not left. Paul's gonna force this. I like this a lot because if he misses these trees here at the corner, he misses those. He's in a position where he might be looking down the tight tunnel left at the pin, giving himself a chance to even consider the eagle.
And the eagle is possible. Earlier in the day, Cole Rodolin went through and managed to grab that.
I will say Luke Humphreys on my card was about 25 feet away and missed the
Wow.
putt for eagle. And that's a very frustrating 20. It's like when you walk to the next hole with a birdie, but it almost feels like a bogey in some ways.
Isaac goes mid-range. The play to just
No
try
kidding.
to hit the fairway. Yeah. His brother did the same thing. Worked out great for him. Let's see if Isaac can get some results.
Paul not quite choosing left side or right side, but ended
Bit
up
early.
getting down the left side. He'll take that.
Wow. Gets clear all the trees.
Of everything.
Yeah, rabbit foot in his pocket, as they say all the time.
We've been saying that one for a long time. Chris choosing a gap and hitting it, and that's how a
Birdie.
lot
That's
of
a birdie.
players play this hole. Yeah.
From
That's-
there,
That's why this hole is probably the easy. Well, it's ranked the easiest right
Is it
now
really?
in scoring. Yeah.
oh, he does have a play.
And look at it. Oh, trying to hang on.
Oh, and it kicks far into there.
And yeah,
We saw it to the right side of the screen.
if you can't see past the edge of that first 10 feet, there's a reason. It's not good over there.
Isaac getting caught up a little bit. Good kick right there at the end.
Yeah, he's still very much in position for the birdie. He's got his first opportunity to work on his bounce back stats.
How'd you do on the hole?
I, for the first time in my life, also had an eagle look. I was in C2.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I actually threw the best drive ever, and I went sidearm down the tight gap and got through everything and missed like a 90-foot eagle putt. But was very
Nice.
happy to have an easy birdie on this one.
There's Paul scrambling really well to get well inside the circle.
And you?
I always do the same thing on this hole, it seems like. I throw it down the middle, kick left into the trees, throw sidearm roller into Somewheresville, throw that one to like 60 and barely miss it. Take a par for the last, I think, 13 years. I think that was Calvin trying to get out. It was.
And this is now for birdie. Boy, that's a frustrating one, man. That second shot had such promise, and then it just left side. It just
Yep.
there's not much room for creativity over there. Macbeth scrambling his way to birdie.
What was that side eye he just did?
The luck of the Irish might be with him today with that green shirt and the MC prefix on his last name. Paul's about the least Irish person I think I know. And we had 3 birdies, and Calvin's, that's a tough par to take.
Yeah. You see that 7 unders in
Whoa.
that 10th place position.
Conrad, 10 under, hot round.
With that 10 under being the mark for that, or 7 under being the mark for the top 10, that's a good score for us to start watching this card to get to.
Well, James Conrad has actually finished his round with 3 birdies, 16, 17, 18. He's actually moved into lead. So Silas Schultz, who held down that 9 under lead for the longest time, it is now a 10 under mark. On to the 13th, big forehand shot here. Oh my gosh, Paul hitting
Rutabago.
Rutabago. Really unfortunate that ground play just did not do what it should have. Chris, actually, I think that was one of the more helpful kicks you're going to receive. That was heading to just Straitsville, USA, and ended up kicking into Pennsylvania. You can't do this.
Get over yourself.
You can't even do this. What is that? This hole does not fit a backhand, Isaac. Learn that, dude. What a shot.
Early gets through, though. Oh, now he doesn't.
You got some looky-loos over there, but it's not great. Right side short's obstructed, to say the least. Macbeth from edge of C2. And yeah, it kind of turns around immediately. That's, ooh, he's going to have to work for the par now. That's actually in a really awkward place. A lot of players find themselves after missing putts for birdie. And Calvin, fortunately, hitting the tree to avoid the same fate.
Yeah, it's kind of made it look easy, but
you don't want that putt.
I'm probably missing it.
You want that putt for birdie. You just never really want that putt.
I was
for
thinking
par.
about it. Whoever, as this is
That's just
formality at this point.
Stupid birdie to get with a backhand.
Yeah.
You have to come to this course to realize how far right this hole is. You're looking to get a sidearm to get a huge skip to get a look.
Whoever invented shorts,
Like the
I don't mind it. Like, shorts are sweet, but why name it shorts? Like, I feel like there could have been there's pants. That's a weird one. But then there's shorts. That's just.
how did this happen?
I was just thinking about it.
How did we? Okay, let's move on.
Why?
I just don't understand. Where did that come from?
Well, if you really want to know, you said that he came up short, and then I thought about shorts, and then my mind just kept going. So, hole 14 is a par 4, 736. Really one of the tougher holes on the course because of the way that you have to hit the gap. You have to drift something kind of from left to right, and the way the trees are positioned, they're kind of really blocking that flex shot. Unless you're throwing a sidearm to the corner, that is an option.
This is one of the 2 changes to the course, and Isaac doesn't care about gaps.
Yeah, he does.
Overdrives that one.
Yeah. Gap was no problem.
This was the point in our practice round when Isaac, Alden, and Ezra were passing us, and the way that he nonchalantly stepped up and threw essentially like the shot that we're seeing Macbeth throw. I just looked at him and I said, "You don't even think about a gap like this." And he says, "Oh, no, not at all." And I'm like, "This is the easiest thing you've ever done in the world," is what I said. And he said, "Yeah, I've got a lot of confidence when it comes to a gap like this." And it's just, you see it in his nonchalant nature when he steps up to gaps like this. And it doesn't seem to bother Chris or Paul either.
I think it bothers them, but then they just throw it. That's kind of good. That's perfect.
Yeah, those are both an ideal spot. Calvin looking to get a little hyzer flip action with his eagle.
All of them kind of the same spot.
Yeah, Calvin's that's such a good shot. Let's see, what is Isaac left with here? Yeah, he's just got to play this one for the par. Out of position, laying up to the tree that essentially becomes like that's like the focal point on your second shot if you throw a good drive. How can you attack around this tree?
How far is Paul from there?
I would say 330 maybe ish.
Really?
Yeah, maybe more. I would say something around that. And too wide and actually hitting the side hill there, which prevents the skip. Chris going flex and just narrowly hugging that line, and just forget about it. Perfection.
Just judging on the way that he flexed that, I would guess it would be a little farther.
Yeah, I think 350 to 360
Yeah.
is probably accurate. Calvin's in the 330 range. See if he can get the ground play right. He's going inside, and oh
Hits
my
the
gosh.
upslope right
Yeah,
there.
they just paved that road. I think it hit past the road, but that road is actually pretty soft. When I pushed my cart over it, it did the thing that it does on like gravel, where it just like was very slow. And so if you hit that, it can potentially do some weird things with the ground play.
Yeah. Paul needs to get something going.
Get it in.
We see that the leader's at 10 under.
He's just stalled. I mean, 2 birdies in the last 9 holes here for Paul.
Can't win every time.
Calvin off the front cage. I think I said that they just paved that. I meant to say they just laid down the gravel.
Calvin's putting is a bit off.
Not paved.
He's usually sinking those in easy.
Does collect on the par. But yeah, like you said, Paul, he's just got to get things going. I mean, I don't know if he's looking at scores right now, but he certainly knows. He doesn't need to look at scores to know that people are kicking his butt if he's not getting these birdies.
Well, he probably can feel it on this card.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, on
He
this
just
card
needs to
alone,
look at
he's 5
Isaac.
back of Isaac's pace.
Isaac, 8 under. I mean, he's at the point in his round where he's trying not to bogey and just trying to keep the mentals in check. With that being said, Chris gets a really great birdie. He gets to 6 under, which is a good score.
Was Chris wearing ankle braces? Looked like he had something on his ankles.
They're okay with that. If you're 4 to 5 back of the lead with 3 rounds to go, there's no stress, there's no panic.
Yeah, through the first round, I think that anything in the 6 to 8 under is going to keep you in contention,
Looking
regardless
pretty
of what
good.
someone shoots the first round. But yeah, you definitely want to avoid being more than like 6 to 7, 8 strokes back. The way that players are just consistently shredding these courses, it's so hard to make up ground as we fly over the par 4 15th. 714 feet is a backhand forced Anheuser flex with a overstable driver. That's what shapes the fairway the best. From there, a really, really, really good shot can get to the top of the hill.
Looks like a death putt.
Everyone else is going to have a pretty tricky second shot that's going to require over the hill, down the hill type of action.
This looks great. Now it doesn't. Now it does.
Ooh.
Hey.
It's across that ditch, which means he's got a chance.
This is probably how you throw it.
Yeah, regardless of what happens.
Wow.
He
That
gets lucky through everything.
right side the whole way doesn't touch a thing. Isaac living right.
Yeah, that was 2 turns. So let's see if Paul can make the correction on that. Wider. This
Yeah.
looks perfect.
It's probably how it should be thrown.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
awesome.
And there you see, there's the top of the hill. Macbeth is going to be looking down. That's exactly where you want to be after your first.
Heiser flip, late turn.
Oh, Calvin's looks perfect.
Look how big that gap looked because of the shape.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
That was
Still
cool.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah,
that was
that
good.
tree was going
This is a really, really tricky shot, though. Got to go uphill initially.
I like the turn if it just misses stuff now. It doesn't. But that was going to be right there.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to really keep the disc moving forward is to go flex. If you go hyzer there, you're going to come up short. So Chris knows that. Good effort, just too many trees in the way.
Why does he want to throw the Anheuser? Can you explain that?
Are you saying Isaac here?
No, Isaac
Oh.
throws a miracle up there.
The Anheuser here for Isaac, it makes sense because you can keep the disc moving down the entire way.
Right, which is the same reason Paul or Chris
Chris
is
is
throwing
doing
Annie's.
Anheuser,
Once
right.
it gets over the hill, it's moving down.
Yes.
And then coming back to the basket. Oh, slithery.
I think Paul would have been a Slytherin if he was at Hogwarts.
Paul-
Something, He seems determined.
Paul's caught a couple bad breaks coming into the greens today. I've noticed the ground play has just not been nice to him.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul's a bit off.
And Calvin getting himself into the ditch. There is some casual water in there. He'll probably have to take a little relief back.
Big death
Or
putt.
take a little relief if he's thirsty. A little casual
Smart.
relief,
Smart play.
as they say.
Something I would do because I
They never said it's
suck.
against the rules to sip your lie.
Yeah, Paul misses that little guy. He
And
makes this putt a
Finally.
lot easier.
Wow.
But that's his
What a
first
birdie.
outside the circle putt of the day. We're used to seeing him make a couple of those.
Yep.
Maybe the downhill lie helped him
He
get
wants it.
that one dialed up. Beautiful bird. This
Yeah.
is a tough one.
It is a tough one. I never ceases to amaze me to see that this hole actually averages below par. That's amazing. Calvin with a
Ooh.
nice flex from an awkward stance.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the seventh most difficult, but in my mind I just like you're saying, it's a lot harder than that for some reason.
Thomas Gilbert made it look real easy when he took a 2 on it.
That's helpful for the scorecard.
Isaac from an awkward stance. Oh, jeez. That putt goes into a basket that's 15 feet longer. I mean, that thing was just a zippy line drive. Yeah. What a putt. What a birdie.
Taking
Never in position. I
advantage.
mean, like, that tee shot was off course.
Yeah.
Got lucky the whole way. His Anheuser was just ripping past the basket. Birdie. Chris, meanwhile, taking the only par on the card. Pretty incredible. As we check out scores here, Isaac moving to 9 under there. He is just one back of the lead that is now shared with Eagle and James.
Hole 16, par 3, 297. Annoying
Looks so
little
tight.
guy here.
All the
We got
gaps.
out of bounds on the right-hand side. Should be just a basic straight to turnover shot. You do have a couple guardians that could kick you left or right. Left is preferred over right because right side is OB. And this is why you don't want to go inside unless you get a
Oh.
good kick like that.
Oh,
That
come
is-
on. How do you still nearly get the bullseye with a tree kick?
Nice.
That was going possibly out of bounds. Very, very possible.
At least it's only a 297.
Paul.
Yeah, going lower, going with the ground
is
play
better.
slide.
He's just not getting the ground play.
Like if you make the gap, you could easily throw 290. Get right there.
This looks
Yeah.
really well thrown as
Nothing
well.
is going to stop that from being good except for that stump. Some awkward ground play to be had out here.
Man, these guys really are pretty good.
Same
Stump.
stump, dude. That thing is just a rejector. Playing some defense up there. See if these guys can convert on their lengthy birdie putts. Paul up first. And off left. Just not quite finishing that handshake with the basket. Chris does indeed seal the deal.
Yeah, remember when a handshake used to mean something?
Used to mean something, Paul.
Oh,
Nowadays, you got wishy-washy handshakes like that one from Calvin. It's
Yep.
just,
Calvin and Paul seems like their putting's not normal. They're usually so much better than this.
under now. Doesn't surprise me, man. He is used to this, used to these types of woods. I mean, he's a Georgia boy. This is where his game was shaped.
A Georgian?
That's not what they call them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, they're called Georgians, but
Oh,
I think,
really? You don't know. You
I
said
thought I
you threw
knew.
I think in
No,
there.
it's a Georgian.
I think I was right.
Tied
Anyways,
for
George
first.
sounds way better.
Looking good.
It would make sense that it would just be a Georgian. I'm just giving you a little grief there, bud. But who knows? Weirder
Little
things have
uphill
happened, especially on
right.
hole 17. 588, tight gap off the tee. This is going to play tricks on you if you don't get to the top of the hill. It's just a scramble hole. If you do get to the top of the hill, hole plays pretty easy. It is a short par 4, but for how short it is, it can give you some fits. There is out of bounds. Way right as well.
Big tee shot here for Isaac. Ooh.
Ooh, we saw a fist pump before it's even done flying.
Nice gap.
That's why.
It's the best drive
Perfect drive.
ever thrown the hole. You can't really throw it better than that. I've seen drives go longer, but they're actually in worse position. Chris kicking so far right, he could potentially be able to access that backdoor route that goes up what used to be hole 16 on this course. Pretty open cheater gap over there.
Oh.
Macbeth kicking left. There's no cheater gaps off to the left side. Yeah, Isaac's drive just blew me away. It's so good. It's hard to even imagine how easy his approach is going to be. And Calvin's
Nice.
trying to do the same thing. I mean, that's essentially like the second best drive I've ever seen. But look at Isaac's drive. It's another 45 feet up the hill.
Pretty good in my books.
Oh, I already Google searched it. It is Georgian.
It's just,
No.
what did I say?
You said Georgianian? Just something.
Georgodian. I just threw an extra G out there.
Oh,
Well, that was so off balance. It looked like maybe he was trying not to hit his.
Looks like Paul just gave up. He's so frustrated.
he is in a really bad place right now. And look at this. Chris just getting up to the top of the hill. That's not going to give him, well, it kind of gives him a play for birdie.
He can make
I
that.
thought he needed it to fade down right more, but just straight through the gap, and he's got a look. Meanwhile, Paul is up and ready to throw.
Georgianian, that's what I said. That's a
Dude, we
great
got to
shot.
move on. Paul has solidified his bogey, I believe. I think that's what he's going to be. That is a really good approach from back there for Paul.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Oh, my.
Calvin, after that great tee shot, he has left himself bullseye. And eventually we're going to get to Isaac's drive. I mean, wow.
Isaac still didn't throw
Fully
his second
seeing the
yet.
basket off the tee, not many people can say they have been able to do that.
Yeah, what is that, 150? 180?
Wow.
I mean, it's hard to even slow your hand down enough
Yeah.
to not go past the basket as downhill as that approaches.
This would be stealing one from the course.
Oh,
Whoa.
and Chris does steal. Call
Who
the
needs
cops.
chains?
My goodness, what a birdie to get a... Hitting early trees on 17 normally spells disaster, but Chris,
Good pace.
he stole the birdie and he stole the birdie putt. I mean, that
You
is...
could definitely tell he kept it kind of light so he wouldn't go past. But it worked out so well.
Save.
Not bogey.
Oh, that's a bogey save. That's right.
Initial early tree, another thing, and then a really good up and down, honestly. That would have been a double bogey for most people.
Perfect
Sorry.
baby.
How is this the 15th most difficult?
No. You're looking at hole 16. This is the second
Okay.
hardest hole in the course.
That was, I was going to.
I was going to
gonna be
lose
like-
my mind. Yeah, this is just one of the easier holes in the course. No, 17
This
is a brutal
Okay,
hole.
good. Thank
Yeah,
goodness.
3 birdies for our card. That's just insane. And I believe we are moving on to the hardest hole of the course. Yes, indeed,
Eagle.
it is.
Tied for
The
3.
new basket placement on 18 is brutal. We have a new, the tee is the exact same. You have to get across this creek. Anything short of the creek is out of bounds. But if you want any chance to birdie, you need your drive to land about here-ish.
Man, these gaps are so tight. 730-foot hole, too.
Approach. And now we are going out to the left side. They have newly built grandstand. There's OB left side and right side. The basket's actually farther than it was when it was in the woods. And it's harder to get to. And the par is a 4 instead of a 5. So they just made this hole an absolute bruiser.
Man, is he
Isaac
on
just
one.
does not care.
Gets the
Right
gap.
next to
He's playing
your
so
old
well.
roommate, Tom.
Yeah. Good old Tom doing his job spotting that one. Makes it easy for him.
Oh, yeah. Might go a bit left, but
It's one of Tom's favorite
he got over
things
the
to share with
creek.
people. Did you know that Paul Ulebar used to live with me?
It's one of my favorite things to share with people.
It's pretty cool.
Good guy. Great spotter, too.
Oh,
Does a lot of
flexing?
work out here. He does work at the USDGC.
Yeah.
Hole 9.
Nice.
And I don't know if he was quick enough to move out of the way if that tree didn't stop it. It was heading right for me. He just did not seem to care one bit.
I think he's been on this hole all day.
He's ready for a break.
Oh,
Macbeth
is he
moving
going to
this
hit the
one,
same
just-
tree?
These shots are so good.
Oh.
And that being said, Paul's drive being turned over means it's going to be really tough for him to get a look, but you know he's got to be pressing. After that bogey that he took on 17, he doesn't want to put himself in another position like he did in 2022 when he had to shoot the 16 under to jump up all those spots, but he is 8 back of not just the field, but the guy on his card.
Well, that was heading out of bounds.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
a
guy on his
good
card
break
isn't
right
first.
He's going to be lucky to get out of there with 3 under.
So it is
If he
still
can
8
capitalize
strokes.
and make a long putt, that would be incredible for him.
Is that
Ooh.
putting range?
I don't know, but I mean, what isn't makeable range for Macbeth, especially when he's the term at a major.
Yeah, and he's only 3 under.
Calvin missing the mark a little bit, staying in bounds. He's got a lengthy look for the birdie. And let's see what Isaac does. Is he going to try to make a play here for the birdie? Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's a mid-range. And that's a
Nice.
well-thrown mid-range.
Such a difficult hole to get to.
Hey, look at Chris's ankles. He's got some sort of brace on or something.
Chris, well played. That's a good round right there. That's going to be a tap-in for a solid 8 under par. And you were right. Paul's right there for the bird.
And once again,
Yeah, but
The
he's
deep
putting's
putt.
off today.
unable to find the basket.
Oh.
Calvin off the top of the
He had a
rim.
few of those today.
Yes, he did. And
bit
another one of
low.
those rounds from Calvin where it's like, yeah, didn't really play that well, but 6 under.
And-
Great score.
Isaac just super fast to get up and miss that one.
And
Great comebacker. In all reality, we don't know how long it takes because this is edited. So he could have taken a minute to putt that.
not a chance. The guy got there so fast, our camera guys weren't even able to adjust to his speed. Obviously, Isaac, a quick player, but stepping up to that one and missing, but connecting on the return par putt. Incredible round, and he is going to be your leader at 11 under. Very good round for Chris, an opening 8 under.
So not so bad overall.
Extra pressure coming into this event as the
Chris is tied for 5th. He's still holding it down compared to last year, so. Oh yeah, round 2 is going to be nice. Eagle too. Chris Diggerson. Is that Mason Ford? Where's Burr? Lazat. I don't even see Burr in that list. Wow.
We'll see you there. Thank you to the Founders Club. See you tomorrow.
I'm gonna switch it to the Gatekeepers coverage now.
PDGA Champions Cup. This is the first pro major of 2023, and I am very excited to be here. Along with Nathan Queen, I am Andrew Fish.
I guess we'll see Burr now play with Eagle unless Now we'll see exactly what happened to Burr.
From the previous years, and I'm excited to see what those look like.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been kind of a staple as the Hall of Fame Classic, 2017 Worlds, and most recently the Champions Cup. Our gatekeeper.
Oh, this whole card looks so nice. It's going to be interesting.
Gannon Burr and Niklas Antila.
And here you see the world rankings with Gannon Burr recently jumping up to number 1 with his chase card win, second of the year out at the Blue Ridge Championships. Straight into the bag checks, we've got Simon Lizotte, same bag as he had at the last event that you saw, putting with the anode, going to be throwing the hex and the pyro, and then maybe disking down to some fairway drivers in these woods with that Defy.
We've seen Eagle McMahon on Gatekeeper Media already this year. He's going to putt with those Rainmakers. And you see he's loaded up on mid-ranges, MD1s, MD3s, a couple of Mutants, and then a bunch of fairway drivers.
And into Gannon Burr's bag, putting with the PA3s, there's a lot of that M2 for his mid-range. And I think he goes with the D2 a lot for the distance shots, but maybe see, again, some disking down here in the woods.
And Niklas Antila, a Discmania player, putting with the P1. You see a Sensei and a couple of Tactics in the bag, and then a variety of mid-ranges as well. He told us he's got a lot of discs. Look for those FDs to make some appearances in the woods.
And speaking of the woods, we start off in them on hole 1, 660-foot par 4. You got the right gap that the drone is flying. There's also a left gap that you can see, kind of a flex shot to get some more distance if you get through those trees. You've got a second row to get through.
From Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, Simon Lizotte.
Last time we saw Simon, he was mounting a huge comeback to win the Music City Open off of this Gatekeeper Chase card. And I seem to remember a big playoff that he got to at the Hall of Fame Classic one year. He will take that left side flex. You see the bit of Anheuser out of the hand. And that's not far, but it's in an acceptable spot.
That was interesting.
Eagle McMahon.
Looks like he's lining up the right side. Oh, I take it back.
Yeah, he's gone with that left side as well. A little more height than Simon, and got it turned over a bit more. He's going to be in a good position for another hyzer shot.
Next up, from Urbandale, Iowa, Gannon Burr.
And Gannon, another player who has won from Chase Card on our Gatekeeper coverage this year.
Mm-hmm. Gannon played the Blue Ridge Championships, winning off of that Chase card. That kind of leaves him a short week of practice for this first major of the year.
And from Kuopio, Finland, Niklas Antila.
Notice Gatekeeper's commentators are a lot more quiet.
And Niklas will take that right side gap. Beautiful little hyzer flip. And you see how much more distance potential there is when you throw this shot cleanly.
Yeah, he gets up around the corner nicely. Going to be on that right side and have that clean hyzer line into it. Gannon going to have to be in a little bit of scramble mode. He'll still be able to get up and around these trees to about 90 if he's clean, but gets caught up. He'll just be looking to get up and down for a par from there.
Simon's worm burner first shot still leaves him a hyzer, plays up the right side, and this is just over for too long. Does work his way to circle 2.
An eagle. Maybe feeling a little more comfortable with the sidearms right now.
Yeah, he said that he's recovered enough that he's willing to throw up to about 360 or so. Not going to break it out a whole lot, mostly for approach shots.
Approach came up just a bit short there. Niklas going to go with that forehand as well. Did not come up short. Going to go ahead and bullseye it for his first birdie of the round.
Yeah, that's how you want to start this 4-round tournament.
Yeah,
a no-thought birdie.
With the gatekeeper rewind. And like you said, no thought. He's just going to put his midi down, drop that one in.
Cannon playing pretty quick. Jump putt up to circle 1. And Nathan, I think a theme we should look for here is that there's a lot of scrambling to be done on the W.R. Jackson course. You want to make your par putts real short, real low stress.
Gannon's going to start off with a bogey.
If you're in the vicinity of bogey on this course, then it just starts to get in your head pretty quickly. Really want to keep it clean, and an easy way to do that is those close par putts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, it's par 4. Never mind.
And some close par putts here, and an even closer birdie
I don't
putt
know.
once we finally get to Niklas here.
I find that these guys can make 600 feet look like 300. That's why I thought it was a par 3.
Hole 2, one of several par 3s on the front. It's mostly going to be backhands thrown to flip up. It's a 390 shot, but you can get a lot of ground play here. There is a left gap as well, but I sincerely doubt that these right-hand backhand players are going to even consider that. Likely looking at fairway drivers, possibly mid-ranges, if players want to get a full swing.
Nice.
Yeah, Niklas made that look a lot more stock hyzer shot than it really is. You need something to push forward a pretty good bit. Whatever he threw there was a pretty good neutral stability where he was able to have it on a hyzer but push forward, kind of like what Simon's doing right here.
And that also going to funnel towards the left side of the circle, but well within putting range.
Is that Nico in the background? I like this.
Eagle again with that pushing hyzer. You see this holds a little straighter and funnels to about 15 long.
Yeah, Eagle going understable disc there, putting it on extreme hyzer and just letting it stand up to straight the whole way. One of my favorite type of shots to watch.
And Gannon going to test the right side if this has stability. Wow. Good touch to circle's edge.
I know he'll take it.
Conditions for this round ideal. About 80 degrees, couple miles an hour of wind. So this is about as good as you're going to get for scoring opportunities on W.R. Jackson.
Smooth.
It is, and there's Simon's first score. He's going to put him to 1 down on the round. Gannon just a little bit right on that one. We're used to seeing him make those, but not really too much wrong with that. Plenty of time to settle in. And this to go back to back for Niklas now.
Put it in.
Front is definitely where you want to get the bulk of your scoring done.
Oh.
And Niklas, something's wrong with that. Just a little left side, low, nose down.
Yeah, he should have left that first putt maybe 5 feet farther, so he got the rhythm in.
Yeah,
know.
get your reps.
That was actually his first putt of the round, so hopefully got that shakiness out now.
And eagle to break the seal. This one very routine. And makes it so.
Shake it off.
See how deliberate Niklas is. He definitely gets his weight far forward on that front foot and wants to nose down his putt. So staying on line is very key for that.
And that brings us into hole 3. I believe this is the 3rd year that this hole has been around now, 726 feet. And it has looked better every year. Lots of underbrush cleaned out. You've got, as you can see, kind of almost 2 dog legs is what it looks like. But then if you're standing on the tee and you look straight, you're kind of looking at the basket.
These backhand power throwers may try to bite off a lot with a big high turning shot like this. You're kind of hoping to go far and maybe you'll get some fairway. And Nathan.
That's
nice.
That's so far. That's a lot of fairway. He's looking at a straight second shot, I believe.
Potentially, and perhaps within 300 feet or so. It's hard to bite that much off. Eagle following the same line.
A bit further, maybe?
Diving over just a little
Not
bit
even.
faster. He's going to end up on that right side. Sometimes you can end up with a line in there, but sometimes you can end up with no swing also.
A big theme here is going to be
Oh,
not just this hole, but
this
making
looks like it'll
forward
flex out.
progress on every shot. So being in the fairway allows you to do that. When you get a little bit more aggressive, it can mean pitch outs or short advances.
And what you're seeing from Gannon here is more what you're going to see from the majority of the field, I believe.
Some kind of position shot, maybe thrown 320 to 350, land in the fairway, and then another backhand hyzer from there.
Yeah, and he may have pushed that. No, that's a pretty good spot. He might be a little farther than he wants. He's going to have to throw a steeper hyzer.
The yellow band on the tree you can see
Ooh.
indicates 400 feet away.
I always forget. I'm talking about what most people would do when I
that's what
say
the
these
colors were.
steeper hyzers, but Gannon Burr really, really likes that flex shot. He likes the overstable kind of force over. So
Yeah, you see him. His
Oh,
Niklas going
no.
to drop back into the crowd. Gannon did a good job pushing the back wall to fight through.
This is what I mean.
And I
How
think you get in most
people
trouble
stand
here
too
when you try to be
close.
too fine testing the inside. So Niklas from well back on his third.
go Braves. Saw a couple hats back there.
And it'll kind of stall his momentum temporarily as he's likely to have to lay up for a 5.
It looks like Eagles has some pretty good airspace over there. And
nice.
A good stop by the tree
Oh,
leaves him
yeah.
inside the circle.
swings it in nicely. Simon, stand still.
That was a dirty little smirk he had on.
It's because he knows. He knows that's the easiest upshot anybody's had on this hole.
Probably.
And he gets it up there inside the circle.
Niklas, little nose up to try to kill the speed. Touch of flex. Well done. Like that's the low stress bogey. That'll keep his round going without having to panic about a 28-footer for bogey.
Yeah, you could tell he wasn't too stressed about it. Sometimes you'll see players try to give that a chance. End up circle's edge or circle 2 for the bogey putt now. But very nice touch. Simon with a nice birdie.
It's a bird on the table.
Gannon with a nice birdie.
Yeah, from well back. And stylistically, this course very different from everything we've seen on tour so far.
Shout out, MVP. Glad to be on the team. It's a whole new project and grip equipment. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out Beyond Disc Golf on Joe Miss Pro.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Hole 4, another par 3. 327 feet, playing gently downhill. And when you hit the first gap, you need to start moving left. The basket's pretty guarded, but the long side of the green is definitely more open. I expect to see mid-ranges thrown for air or some fairway drivers to play a skip. Commit to that initial angle, spin the disc without a whole lot of speed, I think, because of the downhill. And well done by Simon.
Just like you spoke it into existence. Eagle going to be looking to match that.
This is the mid-range play, I think. And pretty good shape, just pushed a touch long.
You can see it came a lot faster off of the hand. He had more speed on that than Simon did. And this could be trouble.
The worst hole in the course for
Nice.
Niklas looking to bounce back. Gets cleanly down the fairway. That's going to be right around circle's edge.
I think so. Shout out to the gatekeeper crew. This is a very, very difficult angle to film because of the steepness of the way the fairway breaks.
Yeah, very late turn. And once it does turn late, you've got that wall of trees you were talking about that's kind of protecting that green.
Good up.
Eagle with a responsible layup. There's no sense giving that a bid as it does continue to play downhill.
This would be a great bounce back for Niklas if he's able to connect here.
Ooh. Oh.
That nose down putt
Oh, man.
hits cage and then a pretty brutal roll back to circle's edge.
It's so unfortunate.
Verdogi.
Hate to see it. That's going to go back-to-back bogeys for Niklas after starting the round with the birdie on hole one. Nice save there from Gannon.
Is Gannon just played a par game?
And early on, Simon's spin putt looks very direct, very driven.
Gobble, gobble. And I got to give a shout out to a fellow lefty here, Chris Clemens. I know you threw a forehand, but nice ace. Brings us into hole 5. A very neat par 3 is one way to put it. 432 feet. Very specific straight shot. You can get a little sneaky off to the right or their left side if you drift just a little bit, but right-handed backhand fairway from these players drifts just a little bit right, fades back left is the ideal shot to park it.
This is a really good series of stacked gaps where, wow, almost done well by Simon, where you're throwing your disc and you have to navigate several different field goals. It's making you play, you know, a more deliberate multi-angle shot. Eagle with the hyzer release, trying to get the drift.
Oh, what a shot.
And that follows the contours of the little valley. And gonna get a birdie look.
Yeah, slides on down there nicely. Get that rewind.
Tell you what, the wings of that disc go on a journey.
Oh man, that takes so much touch.
That was nice.
Let's go watch it again.
Yeah, I'll scrub back. Gannon gonna try to follow that.
Oh man, and so close.
Very good shape, just didn't have the left start that Eagles did. Niklas currently sitting 1 over. This is kind of not the hole you want to be messing with when you're 1 over.
Oh, yeah. And he's definitely happy to see that second kick drop him back down in the middle.
So all things considered, seems like our feature card navigating the hole fairly well, getting a good chunk of distance on their tee shots.
Yeah, this is the 4th hardest hole on the course that did average over par today. I believe there was just 4 holes that did average over par.
And I believe this is the only one on the front 9.
Also, the only par 3.
Huh. Good out shot. And eagle for a stroke on the card and most of the field.
All right. Yeah, that puts him to 3 down on the round, tying up Simon.
He really leans
Niklas
forward a
able to
lot.
Get up and down for his birdie.
Takes his
Looks
time.
like the card gonna play 1 down, which is strokes on the field on this hole.
Yeah, I think if you sign me up for a par without having to play the hole, I would sign the contract now.
I usually would, but that was one of my few birdies today, so I'll take it.
Hole 6, an uphill par 3. There's 2 options off the tee. Most players are going to take the right gap, which is significantly more open. You're either going to see steep flip-ups with a very understable disc, or possibly a very driven overstable disc.
Oh.
Eagle with that first option. Fairway driver.
Oh, I thought that was inside, but
Yeah, he has been throwing understable discs the entire round so far, just on that very steep angle, and just controlling it so well. We get to watch it again here.
Perfect.
That's over. That was like 50 degrees of angle there. That's over. Wow.
That first camera angle made it seem inside.
And neat to see that kind of forced shape.
I like it.
Simon going to try to follow it. This is a little wider and a little more overstable, so it flashes short. Nathan, when you get a shot that's blind like this, where you can't really see 2/3 of your flight, how do you go about practicing that?
Well, ideally you'd like to have the same disc. You can, the same disc that's going to have the same flight. You can throw a few different ways, and when you throw the shot that you want, so that way when you get up there, you can see where each disc was at and what adjustments you need to make.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not one that you're going to solve with one practice round. You're going to need to maybe pick up, walk back, and try a couple different things.
You may get close enough for a birdie one shot, but that doesn't mean that you were going to know what you did the next time.
Gannon forced to lay up. That might have been a little speculative. Maybe I'll dunk it.
Yeah, and he just makes that look pretty easy. 120-foot jump putt there.
Right.
And Niklas's discs seem to really like that edge today. We've seen quite a few of them stand up and roll a little bit already.
For sure. On gently sloping greens too. There's going to be some more hazardous ones yet to come. And if Niklas is yet to go before eagle,
What's up, guys? Eagle here. Thank you for watching Gatekeeper Media, and I just want to send you over to my socials. Go check out my YouTube, Eagles vlogs. Go check out me on Instagram, Eagle_WMCM. Discmania, we got some cool stuff coming out. Sweets Kendamas, got some grip bags left, and I just want to thank all of you for the amazing support. Keep on dreaming.
Brings us into hole 7, 744-foot par 4. Really want to throw a low driven shot to get a skip somewhere to the right to about this green spot up here where the grass is at, or you could throw a high pushing shot to fade out that way. Then you're going to have a hyzer kind of around this valley
What the heck
to
was
hopefully
that?
get to the basket. But really dependent on where you land on the tee shot, what that second shot's going to look like.
No.
Eagle, this is
Okay.
very early.
Wow.
What?
Tell you what,
Couldn't
that's the
ask
kind of
anything
boost you
better.
get that gives you 250 feet. You only get that when you're 4 down through 6. This tee pad had been moved back a few years ago from the original design and kind of turns this into a fairway driver, distance driver, choose your poison. Simon with a good shot. I don't think that's nearly to where he exactly wants to be. He'll have to scramble a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little farther back. Gonna add a little bit more flex to that shot.
Gannon, this is thrown well. Looks like it's also coming in a little early, and we'll have to scramble. Those are still birdie opportunities. Niklas, you see it giving the width. The fast disc has the finish on it. I like where this is headed, I think.
Yeah, that push just a little bit long right. And there's a chance he could have something there. But it could look pretty scrambly.
Yeah, kind of breaking the fourth wall. I feel awkward, saying he has a chance, unless you hit a 20-foot circle 400 feet away. You are scrambling on this hole.
And here's that little chance that we were talking about. It looks like he's nailed it pretty well. That was a very tight gap. He's able to navigate all the way up to circle 2, maybe inside circle 1 there.
Mm-hmm. Gannon kind of playing the high route rather than the valley shot.
So close.
And you see the frustration starting to mount as Gannon is only 1 down on this 7th hole. He's used to excellence. Simon has found that honey spot, able to play the fairway driver straight to finish. Can't quite climb the hill, but is in circle 1.
Oh yeah, fantastic shot there. Had to put a little bit of straight on it, not really a turnover, but just slightly straight instead of hyzer. Gannon going with a very aggressive angle there on the forehand. Gonna turn that over into circle 1. Give himself a chance for par.
Eagle playing the Anheuser to glide and scoot and skid. 20 feet for his par. This would be Niklas for a birdie.
Come on, let's see it. Stress-free par.
Yeah, that counts for something. This is one of those dangerous greens. Gannon's now looking straight down the hill. Good little band tap, and in for his par.
Yeah, he's keeping it clean. Just got the 1 birdie so far, but no bogeys, which says a lot. It keeps you that way.
You see that again. And a big fist pump in the background. Love to see the enthusiasm.
And Eagle never really seemed like he was on the same hole as the other guys, but does end up with the par. Riding the right
There's so
side
much
of that
focus.
fairway the whole way.
You could hear the birds chirping.
And nicely done by Lazat. Hole 8, a big downhill right turning shot to a pretty small specific landing zone. We may see forehands, we may see backhands. The fairway is then going to straighten out for another 300 to 350 feet with a wall of trees down the middle and both sides. Basket kind of perched here with a ravine to the left, but not a whole lot of foliage around it.
You're going to have the forehand here for the placement shots. There's not really a good way to get a long way around the corner with the forehand. It's going to be a pretty good spot for Simon, a little over on the right. The backhand turnover with the mid-range or a putter is going to be your trying to get a lot of distance off of the tee and hopefully land in the fairway play.
I completely agree. Eagle going for that slow forehand, just trying to get himself a second shot. With the backhand, you absolutely can go far, but if you miss your angle, you're either going to flex out or cut roll or overturn. And this is very wide by Burr. He's going to kick to the inside. That's kind of a death zone.
Yeah, that's not a mistake that you expect to see. That was a very, very late release there.
And the fourth forehand in the group.
Oh, man. Did he slip or just something? He ended up in a pretty good spot. Looked a little high on the release.
I think that might just be the way he throws, you know, kind of from shoulder level. So Burr still not to the corner. Good shot. He's going to have about 400 on a hyzer stand-up from here. This is a big shot for his round.
Oh, this looks fantastic.
You really
Nice.
can't do it much better than that. Gets it. That looks like 40 feet or so for Bert, or for his par. And Eagle pretty well pinched.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a play to try to get in the fairway. And
Pretty darn good distance.
yeah, I'm surprised he got that forward of a skip with how much hyzer he had on that, but he always finds some way to get some speed on it.
That may have been a situation where fully healthy Eagle goes forehand and tries to pin it.
And Simon with an opportunity to take the lead on the card, going to go ahead and put himself inside circle one, looking to go 5 down on the round.
Yeah, good little catch by the root ball to keep him from trailing further down the hill. Niklas protecting that angle. Hyzer release to stand up. Gets the drift right.
Oh, yeah. Exactly what you want to see right there. That's that shot that we've been seeing from Eagle, that steep hyzer release and stand up to straight. Uses the uphill to flatten it back out. Oh, man.
And look at it just coast
was
on the ground.
perfect.
So Niklas looking to get himself back to even. Good gravy.
What? Eagle said, Simon, you may not have the lead on the card.
Super big
Go
putt.
ahead and see that rewind. What a spin putt.
And Eagle just holds the pose all the way in. That was on the same line forever.
How far away was that?
Sweet.
Yeah.
So it looks like Simon did end up just outside the circle and came up just a bit low.
Burr for his par. This is a good reset. Make sure you're ready.
What a
Oh.
Yeah.
power save. He,
Almost went left.
he
but
was 60
clutched it.
feet off of the tee pad.
Mm-hmm.
Nice save, Gannon. Way to keep that scorecard clean.
Yeah, it goes in as a par on the scorecard, but emotionally, knowing that this is a long tournament, you don't want to be giving strokes back.
That's some big feels.
Yeah, yeah.
Brings us into hole 9, 618-foot par 4. Gonna have some shots go right where this drone's at, kind of fade into this area. Fairway drivers, maybe some distance drivers here. And then kind of scramble mode second shot. There's a few different fairways you can hit. But as long as you hit this initial gap.
You see that out of frame coming back in. Anything that crosses that road is considered a big shot, in my opinion.
Agreed.
That'll leave Eagle around 220 or so to the bucket. Niklas, you see this more flat shot. It's going to fade out to the left, likely accessing a more left gap than Eagle has.
Yeah, he's landed in that middle area where I was talking about the scramble mode. He's going to have a few different gaps to choose from, all on a slightly different angle. Simon's got this one over to the right, but it does come back at the end. Going to be just shy of Eagle's drive, and they have a nice straight shot over there on the right side.
And Nathan, this is originally a John Houck design. You see a staple of Houck courses, and wow, Burr just pulls this over. Goes through everything.
What?
And still in a fine spot, about 280 away.
I don't understand.
A staple of Houck courses is multiple options.
Nobody understands.
Landing zones that kind of converge to one point and give you opportunities to work through fairways, but some very dense rough in islands within the fairways.
Definitely so. Yeah, you saw 3 different opportunities or 3 different ways you could go off of the tee on this one. The one on the left and the one on the right don't make too much sense in this case, but they are there.
Niklas with a good forehand gets himself inside circle 1.
Perfect up.
Simon, good speed control. You can get some variable landings here. Pine Straw playing fast, Sand playing pretty slow. Got to know your locations on the green. Eagle gonna throw putter, play for that little scooch, and another drop in for Eagle McMahon. Looking to go 6 down on this front 9.
Oh my God. Oh. That was technical.
With a near highlight. Can't quite dunk it.
It didn't even look like he hardly moved his arm. He's 80 feet in the woods over there and almost makes it. Niklas able to get 8 and 9 to get himself under par for the first time since hole 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's really good momentum. He took back-to-back bogeys after a birdie start. But there's definitely some scoreable holes to begin the back 9.
Yeah, Simon tapping in his birdie and Eagle tapping in his birdie. Gonna move him to 6 down through these first 9 holes. Putting him in a tie for first. What a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a -6, a -5 on the card, a couple -1s. We know they've got some work to do. But some hot scores coming in, setting the pace for the field.
Yeah, early on we see a 9 down, a few 8 downs. I got to play with Cole Redallen and watch that 8 myself. Fun stuff to watch.
Eagles doing pretty good. Just needs to keep it up. Just gonna switch to round 2 or back 9, I mean. Nothing we haven't seen. Skip this. Here we go.
Looking to see either forehands or backhand turnover shots. You can bite off quite a bit of distance here. The approach into the green is a little bit cluttered. You're going to have to just work your way and scramble. And a couple mounds around the green make your landings and or footing interesting. Looks like Eagles lining up mid-range. Going to play a flat or slight hyzer release to drift in front of those triple trees in the fairway and just keep cruising.
Yeah, he's done that nicely. Ends up drifting up to the left just a little bit, but still should be in pretty good position.
Still has that leaf on his back.
Also following that hyzer release, anything that breaks in front of these 3 trees is usually pretty good. And this is huge from Niklas.
So much distance, maybe even a standstill shot from there. Putter.
Simon going to go forehand.
Come on, give him a skip.
A skip, ride to the right. Even that kind of on the edge of the fairway will have a turnover. I would guess mid-range.
The trick with that forehand is really getting it to push straight. Once you really need to push those 3 trees in the middle. If you're fading before that, it's pretty easy to end up too far right once you get that skip.
Cannon starts a little bit more left. This is high and gliding. That does push the back wall. Usually from the edge of the rough, you have something you can lean out and advance with.
We see Simon from the edge of that right side was a little bit short, but able to throw just a fantastic shot with a very overstable disc there.
Yeah, basically a roller angle out of the hand and then perfectly flat as it hits.
Man, I thought he was throwing a roller, and then it flattened out nicely. He's going to have a tap-in birdie.
Eagle slings a forehand, very overstable. That must be a splice. And gets himself to circle 2. It seems a little errant for the complexity of what he was dealing with.
Did.
Gannon plays a little jump shot.
Wow.
Oh
my goodness.
What?
Yo.
That's not.
Hits
I
the
was
koozie.
impressed with his run on 9, almost making a putt. This one had the same speed coming in, just stalled perfectly.
And Niklas trying to give it a run as well.
Almost the same
We've got
shot.
3
Beautiful.
birdie looks from in the circle, and Eagle with a long look here. He's already made 1 long one. This one a little more obstructed.
Honorable bid. And Niklas been leaning on that red approach putter for his forehands, serving him well over the last few holes. Gets himself to 2 under.
Gobble, gobble. And speaking of 2 under, Scott Withers able to throw 2 under on this very hole. Carding the Eagle, threw it in from 269 feet on U-disc.
Nice.
All right, that's pretty big.
Moves us into hole 11, 420-foot par 3, moving to the right, but really favors a righty backhand turnover shot as far as being able to get the distance to get there. You see the FPO pin we just passed and then the MPO pin. You're going to want to push something out towards the left side of this fairway and getting it to turn right the entire way. Drift back just enough to catch some glide.
You see this flat release, understable disc. And gets right enough.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. I think that FPO pin, among several others, is a very good change. Gives more scoring opportunities to them. And you see the thoughtfulness of how the PDGA staff and maintenance crews are working here, advancing this course to meet the demands of what the current pro fields are doing.
I absolutely pinned that FPO pin. Just saying.
Give yourself a 60-footer. Nice work. We'll see a couple later changes on the course that have been done to optimize the field for the MPO also, or optimize the course. Gannon with a nice high shot. Look how flat that is 300 feet away.
That is just an incredible shot right there. Going to end up just a little bit left side, just inside circle.
An eagle in an unfamiliar position at the back of the box. Is he going
Looking
mid
good.
here? Same
It
thing
looked
he
like
threw?
a mid, which is why he was able to be that inside, I suppose.
Nice.
And that's silly. He's past the basket with mid.
420 feet.
Simon high spinny, and he knew it before everybody else that was going to come up short and left. Gannon has struggled a little bit on the green, but not this time, in the heart.
Yeah, got back-to-back birdies now, putting him 3 down on the round, still clean. That one birdie early on, and now starting to get a few, catch up with the card a bit.
In this 4-round tournament. Nicely done by Eagle. You definitely want to get off to a hot start, but it's important not to get too high or too low about your own performance.
I hope Gannon can come back.
You kind of just need to put yourself in position to be in position on the final day.
Just hold on to that top spot.
Like you said, 4-round tournament, so 1 extra round than you're used to, and some big swings can happen as long as you're in contention or have played to, you know, close to what your abilities are and kept yourself in there. Then you're going to have an opportunity. As you see here from Niklas, he was 1 over until hole 8 on the round. Now he's got 4 birdies in a row, 3 under par.
Hole 12, our only par 5. This right side off the tee is going to be the most used. You're looking to get about 400 feet or so, and that leaves the option to go either left or right on the second shot. This hole can be eagled, but it's going to take 2 very, very controlled shots around 470 feet or so each.
I like how you could choose left or right lane after your first
fairway
throw.
drivers, if you're being a little conservative.
Cool little fairway
The
they
distance
got.
driver may also be in play because
Just
even
a
though this is a
small
woods course,
900
a lot
feet.
of the fairways are more than 25 feet wide at their narrowest.
Yeah, you definitely get a lot of fairways where you have an opportunity to throw those flippy drivers. And Niklas with a nice tree kick there, keeping him in the fairway.
Gannon with the hyzer release. This is just holding and pushing around the island of trees.
So good.
Into a great spot.
Yeah, he's in a spot that he should be going down that right side now. Kind of takes you out of eagle play. I mean, I know he's got tons of power, so I'm not saying it's impossible. But that right side is more the birdie side. If you're able to push far enough to go straight at it down the left, that's when you're looking at eagle.
Eagle with the late flip, pushes to the right, and I think he's going to be forced to take the left side alley, which is narrower and more direct. And Simon unleashes on it. This is going to fade to the left. Does cut through all the way to the opposite side of the fairway.
So he's got options from there. He can maybe try to go aggressive forehand to land in the middle of that left fairway, or he can kind of pitch out farther out to the right and get in the right side fairway like Niklas is going for right here.
This is gorgeous. Tests the back wall and plenty of distance. He'll be around 170 feet or so, likely with a lean out forehand.
Eagle been throwing with a lot of steep hyzer, understable discs.
And I lost that. That's the hazard of throwing red discs, folks. If you want people to see it, you got to throw pink, bright pink. Gannon's going to take the right side, and this is hugging the inside a little bit, but still in fine spot. That right side, so much wider.
Yeah, and that pushed pretty far. That got around that group of trees in the middle. And he might be in there for one of those long Gannon putts, 80, 90 feet.
Simon going to be a little bit creative here. Plays a turnover and flattens nicely and works its way back to the center.
Oh, yeah. Easy up and down from there.
And it's just, it's straight up insulting to the rest of the groups when Eagle is the furthest away for his third.
Well, this did play as the easiest hole on the course today.
as many par 5s on Tour do, and that's kind of why holes 14 and 18 ended up being changed at the Jackson course. Simon, the Anheuser floater.
Oh.
Giving it a bid.
Wow. Correct in 2 axes, just not quite
That was
long
nice.
enough.
All right, we got one more chance for the eagle here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Gannon gave it a champion's bid, but just off of the top. There was one eagle today. I was lucky enough to see it in person. Cole Riddallen, I don't know, 500-foot plus drive and mid-range shot down the left side, inside 20 feet.
Sure.
I want to thank my sponsors, Prodigy, Titan Disc Golf. Huge shout out to my caddy, Matt Schlebach. A lot of people know him now. He caddied for me first 2 rounds, and up until hole 16, he had to catch a flight. And a shout out to Gavin for taking the bag the last 3 holes.
Here we are, hole 13, 399-foot par 4. Feels to me like it plays a little bit shorter, does go a little bit downhill, but then you're back up on some mounds for the green. Another one of those shots you could go forehand or backhand turnover. Forehand is going to play a little bit better. You're going to want to push it towards the left side of the corner and then fade sharply, kind of like Niklas is doing right here.
That's very well done.
There you go.
Just, if you want a whole preview, just fast forward to what Niklas did. And Gannon going to play a little bit more of a hyzer with a slightly understable disc.
And that's what can, when you go a bit more hyzer on this one without pushing out to the left, it really brings those trees on the right into play that you can't see off of the tee. What he hit is around that corner.
As noted, Eagle kind of limiting the use of his forehand. So this is about as far or hard as he's wanting to throw it at this time. But even with that perceived limitation, he gets all the distance, just not quite the skip to the right.
Yeah, it didn't even really look like he did anything right there, and it was going to travel 400 feet.
And Simon with another forehand. His footing seemed a little weird there, but no harm, no foul. Up near circle's edge for a putt.
Yeah, nice little rollout to a clean putt also.
That is so critical on this green because it is elevated. There's some cluttery trees around it. Getting yourself a clean look can kind of save a quarter stroke at a time. Gannon, a little bit of a speculative bid, works its way to the back of the circle, and Eagle maybe a half poke at it, deliberately nose up to kill the speed.
Yeah, not quite as much speed as we saw the one him make on hole 8, because there is more danger behind as Simon Lazat is able to connect for his birdie. Back to back now moves him to 8 down.
Easy putt for Gannon.
Gannon, good putt to the middle. And this would be Niklas to get to 5. He's worked his way back from kind of being...
That's a 6-pack.
Yeah, he was 1 over par at one point. You see Simon and Eagle now tied at 8 down for the lead. As we go into hole 14, now a par 4. It's a gap shot off the tee, something that can go straight for maybe 300 feet and then bail to the left. Leads to a forehand or turnover shot into a flat green. This was a par 5. Now the landing zone is more or less where incredible shots off of the previous tee would get.
Yeah, the gap is much tighter. I'd say this is probably the second, possibly third tightest gap on the course.
They make it look so easy.
And Niklas able to hit the gap well. Catches one of those late trees, but kicks off to the good side.
I would like hit this tree for sure.
Simon taps early, but does stay in the middle. That's
What a
pretty
kick.
big. And Gannon also going left. He told me that he didn't feel like he had his legs under him, just like not quite recovered from the previous weekend's effort as well as practice rounds here. So maybe fatigue catching up with his young body.
He's not tired.
Eagle with a gorgeous shot, puts himself on the left side of the fairway. And Burr
Wait a minute.
looks like another shank that he's not going to pay that much for. Gets quite a bit of distance. That's going to leave about 350 feet, probably with a big forehand.
Takes the sneaky way.
Yeah, not making it through the gap off of this tee shot. I mean, minus some miracles, almost takes par out of play. Simon gonna get himself in a pretty good position to try to get it. But this second shot is really not a given. You've got to choose if you want to go inside or outside.
Yep.
Of these trees we'll see here in a minute. The inside is a better line to the pin, but much tighter.
And can potentially lead to some terrible kicks. Love the control of this to get the late flip and the scooch to the back of the bullseye.
That is so good. The angle, it's much tighter than it looked on camera right there. It's a fantastic shot from Niklas, and Gannon kind of army golfing his way down this one.
Yeah, he straightened that out too much. Still a young forest between him and the bucket.
That's so good too.
Eagle with a little chip forehand. You really see the difference in where this tee shot lands.
Yeah, Eagle being as far left as he was made that forehand a lot more open.
Simon playing kind of an inside line.
And that's more what you see a good amount of.
Yeah.
Is some funny angles and catching those three trees.
Gannon a jump putt from 100-something feet to the bullseye. It's a bogey, but it's a good bogey save.
Yeah, third hardest hole on the course today. So brand new hole, playing over par.
And Simon a little errant on his fifth. No, fourth. Now putting for 5. And that's going to stall his progress considerably. Our co-leader definitely going to give up at least a couple strokes to McMahon.
Go ahead and make that 3 strokes as Eagle able to card the birdie. One of just 21 players. Niklas going to be another of those 21 players, and he now has 7 birdies in a row.
Yeah, going streaking. And Simon with the long walk across the circle. You know this is frustrating for him because par was potentially in his vision.
Double bogey. Damn.
Moves us into hole 15, another par 4, 715 feet. This ditch right here is kind of the thing that you need to get past off of the tee. You're going to want to throw a turnover fairway that's going to fade back a little bit. Unless you get close to 400 feet off of this shot, you're going to have a blind second shot. And it's kind of poke your way down there. This is one of the less deliberate fairways. that you have for this second shot.
Yeah, just kind of a series of awkwardly spaced trees leading into the bunker.
That double bogey really punched Simon in the gut.
Right side of the fairway, but well clear of the ditch. You see both of them playing a flat release and then a drift that isn't actively turning. It's kind of just moving to the right.
And that had so much speed on it. He's carrying up to the top of that hill. He's a little bit on the right side, but a good amount of distance.
Gannon, we know he loves that Anheuser release. That's more of his comfort zone. Hits the gap, clean in the fairway.
That's that spot where you could probably see the pin from. I think he might have made it.
Simon looking to bounce back, also going distance driver. And this is pulled a little bit. Yeah. Taps down to the left.
Oh, and 2 holes back to back. He's going to be scrambling from early off of the tee.
Still playing that right side. This is well thrown, flipping up late. And
even with that kick, that is an incredible scramble shot to get as far as he did from where he was
yeah,
at.
no doubt. From back there, you're thinking any par is good. And now he's turned that into I have to par. Niklas with the high flat forehand and
Parks it.
Are we?
yeah.
He's
Hits metal. Wow.
8. That's 8 of them.
That's 8. You can mark that one down on the card right now. It's bad practice to do that, but you can if you want. Eagle. Looked like, I think it was a forehand roller, but not really getting to the ground cleanly.
And Gannon with just a standstill flex shot and so much touch on that to be able to get it to stop. This is a steep downhill grade right here.
Yeah, I think he made the right mistake to deliberately throw it a little bit long, though.
The right mistake?
Because there is a creek back there that stops you around 25 or 30 feet. It's a lot better to be back there putting up than getting stopped early and short.
Definitely so. You can see that creek down on the right now.
Oh.
Simon and Eagle, both with pretty good scrambles.
You can make that.
Eagle for his par.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you want to support me on tour, Discmania store is the way to go. There might be some Nordic Phenoms left, so pick yours while they last. And yeah, thank you all.
On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers. Look a little closer and you'll...
Being left to right shot. Basket kind of perched on a mound with downslope to the right as well. I expect to see putters or mid-ranges, but all thrown backhand.
Oh.
Kind of aim at that cluster of pines and let it drift. Gorgeous by Niklas. We're going to play a little bit more of a force over if this angle he's setting is correct.
Again,
Equally
really using that overstability of his discs to do a lot of the work for him. Uses a lot of those steep angles. He's going to be up there inside the circle. And this another one of those holes where although it does move to the right, it seems to play better for the righty backhand rather than forehand. That righty backhand's able to fade and finish softly rather than spiking into this downhill, where if you throw a forehand or a lefty backhand, you can get a skip towards that OB.
Yeah, completely agree. Eagle saw something he liked in Burr's throw and does get it to flatten out for a park job. And Simon, this is just pushed too straight.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
And the slow, insolent trickle to out of bounds. A very sarcastic fist pump.
And a very quick neck shot after that. Gonna get him up and down for an unfortunate bogey.
Damn.
As
He was having
this
a
is
good
one
score.
of the easier holes on the course, even with the OB.
Yeah, Nathan, I think there's something good to learn there from Simon. He's frustrated. He's not putting together the close to the round that he wants, but he's still a good sport. Like, he's not bringing down the rest of his card.
And that is a great mood to have if you can handle your own frustrations within yourself and make sure you don't project that on the rest of your card.
That's a tough.
Your card mates are gonna appreciate you for that.
But this course
Good
is tough,
bogey
so
save for Simon.
I expected, I guess.
We saw Burr knock in his birdie to move to 5 down, kind of salvaging what seemed like a really slow start.
Yeah, and what seemed like an even slower start here from Niklas. He's looking for his 9th in a row right here. When I say looking, I mean he's pretty much at it.
Yup, easy little pitch.
And he's gone from +1 to 8 down in a tie for 4th place. Moving into our final 2 holes, the hardest 2 holes on the course today. Hole 17, second hardest, 588-foot par 4. A very intimidating gap to hit, probably the tightest that you have to hit off of the tee at a certain point in the fairway. If you can get up at least halfway up that hill, you're going to have a good opportunity to get your blind upshot up to the basket. But the farther left on you stay on the fairway, once you do get halfway up that hill, the better spot you're going to be in.
Niklas makes the initial 2 gaps, but then drifts to the right. He's going to kind of be in some matchsticks. Probably not a birdie position, but possible par. There also is a right side gap that plays up an old fairway for a previous hole 16. Gannon going to try that.
What?
There's some OB that they've added over
Why?
this way also. I guess maybe to prevent some people from trying this gap. It's not the intended fairway. And Gannon did find that OB over there.
High risk, high reward.
Can't hit the second gap and boosts down to the left.
Oh, that's brutal.
And the struggle's continuing for Lazat.
Yeah, after Niklas's drive there, not much luck with hitting the gap. We're going to see lots of scrambling here.
And Eagle playing that flippy hyzer release again. Gonna follow that right side old fairway and can't believe that it gets tapped down late.
Lots of trees to tap it down out there.
Yeah, tell you what. And Simon
Also
smashing a gap gets.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my! Up to the top of the hill. This is nearly circle 2.
He's gonna have a birdie look. Simon might birdie.
Yeah, that's a lemonade shot. There was nothing there.
So what you see right here is why you see these players trying to get over to this right side. Pretty open if you can get over there. Gannon went OB. This is his 3rd shot, and he got up and down to say par.
That is an absolutely incredible scramble shot.
So good.
Wow. Okay. I see the risk he wanted.
Eagle gonna have to play a turnover mid-range. Low ceiling grabs him. And that's gonna kind of sputter out near circle 2 as well. So Eagle very likely to take a stroke over par, drop him back under 10.
Oh.
I'm going a bit backwards here, but I feel like I left him out back on hole 15.
That was so
Thomas
awkward.
Gilbert able to throw in for the Eagle, 288 feet.
I tell you what, there's something in the water out here in Georgia. People throwing in from all over the place.
Yeah, there were 4 Eagles out here today trying to get that golden bush
Nice.
now.
I guess. A good layup by Niklas, and Eagle wanting nothing to do with this run. Gonna drop it in. Simon does want something to do with it.
Trying to get that birdie, and a good tree hit there to stop him, keep him inside the circle. for a par. Simon gonna tap in. I believe his first bogey of the round, move him back to 9
took
under
away
par.
his tied for first position.
And
No.
Simon had to reset there. There was a little bit of movement in the crowd, unable to compensate for the distraction, and gonna take a bogey.
What a par save from Gannon after going OB off of the tee.
Wow, just a lot of wild swings on this hole from our feature card, Nathan.
Yeah, I think the most wild might be that Niklas got a par.
Yeah, that's unprecedented at this time. Hole 18, now a par 4. There's two options off the tee, either a straight pushing shot or a right side hyzer. You work your way up to the top of the hill, and then out in this newly green grass, there is a peninsula with out of bounds surrounding it with the basket. And a bunch of bleachers, bunch of fans.
Simon's scorecard is taking a beating. I feel so bad for him. He's so good, and it's so unlucky.
Behind this feature card. Niklas gets over a little bit too much to the right side there, but still may have an opportunity to get up to the green. Might have to get a little tricky.
Gannon leaves us a little bit left, and that's going to drop down into the out-of-bounds creek. He will have to advance to the drop zone short tee.
Yeah, you've got to make it across that creek off of the tee to be inbounds. Anything short of it is out.
And Eagle does do that, but drops down in the fairway. The difficulty with that straight shot is it has to be moving straight for so far before it starts moving to the right. Simon beginning to fade out, but does tap down to the middle. Gannon again playing quickly. You kind of see the frustration setting in. And Eagle, I think this is the same disc. Overstable fairway driver. Wants to get to the top of the hill.
Oh.
But just the uphill nose angle, not able to get it to flat.
Yeah, very uphill right here. And anytime you have that uphill run up, it can drastically change your release point. Your foot's down a little bit quicker, and it really makes you want to early release.
Simon pushing up towards that out of bounds left side, but does stay safe. Really well done. Gives him an opportunity to putt for birdie once more. And Eagle taking his medicine, gonna lay up to the mouth, likely to have to pitch up for bogey again.
And Niklas with just enough room there to have a full swing, puts it up there inside circle 2. Gonna give himself a chance for another birdie, trying to keep it with just one par here on the back 9.
Yeah, ride that momentum. Burr's fourth, playing this flex forehand. Okay.
That should do. This is Eagle's fourth also.
Good speed control, just outside the bullseye.
At least Eagle touched first place. He was 10 under.
And why not?
Fuego.
Niklas Antila.
Wow, he played so well.
With the one final birdie putt here on hole 18. 8 down on the back 9 to shoot 9 under par.
Tell you what, that's not where I thought this was headed, but boy, am I excited to see it.
Oh man, I'd like to see a good front 9 from him with this back 9. You'd
Right?
see course record all day.
And that is going to
Wonder
put
what his
Niklas on the
final
round 2
scorecard
lead
looks like.
card. So we're sorry to see him go, but enjoyed it while it was here. Simon racks up a birdie. One final highlight puts him
Bummer.
at 5 under. Burr also going to tap in a bogey, and Eagle, I expect he will do the same here. And Nathan, this is about as good a field as we're going to see all year.
Oh, absolutely. You have the qualifiers. I believe it was in the 30s or so that qualified through winning events. And then the tiered registration, making sure, I believe everybody here is over 1,000 rated.
Just about. There's a couple who had dropped under and a couple of amateur champions who earned their spots.
So, Nicholas. Perfect back nine. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. What a finish.
Niklas, 9 under.
Lazat, right here, 14 to 17, just got butchered. He's got to clean that up in the next 3 rounds. Burr, little roller coaster ride for him. Overall, he can clean it up.
Eagle, we're going to see him again tomorrow on the Gatekeeper Round 2 chase card. Simon and Gannon at 5 and 4. They haven't played themselves out of this tournament yet, though. Pretty tightly contested pack, and anybody capable of making a move here.
Yeah, you see a lot of 8 downs there, a couple 9s, a 10, and 11, which is all easy to come back up on. As we've seen in previous events this year, chase card right there close by always has a chance.
Wow, that was pretty good. Tough course. Wonder how they're gonna keep it going in the next rounds. Anyways, I might be streaming round 2 tomorrow or Sunday. Hopefully it gets posted up soon. Anyways, thanks for watching. And I'll see you later.